This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura Integra. $229 a month. It's the season of performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink, be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our all-stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free, Call us anytime, 24/7.
Walt and Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura ADX. $239 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Miami Dolphins fans, time to rock out with another Dolphins pregame show. Big O and the boys are ready to give you the latest information, injury news, gambling insight as we get ready for kickoff. The pregame show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Toyota of Hollywood, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Here's your host, the Big O, Orlando Alzugari.
Alrighty. Good afternoon, boys and girls, wherever you're watching, anywhere locally, nationally, internationally. Welcome aboard as we get ready to talk about the final regular season game for the Miami Dolphins. Others will continue to play, but we're kind of used to that. So we'll talk. This matchup there's nothing really to talk about with this matchup. The inactives are in. Tua's your third quarterback. Cam Miller, the QB you just signed, is inactive. Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Minka Fitzpatrick, Chop Robinson, and Austin Jackson are all out, right? So you got all of that. It is what it is. Waller probably also out too, which, whatever, good riddance. That guy can barely ever play, and his body can't even hold up anyways. He's got talent still. He can play, but if you can't be available, it's kind of useless. But anyway, so the matchup is not really something that is a thing, but it's a thing. It's a thing. And I tell you it's a thing because the fact that players are all resting, which I don't have a problem with my guys like Achane and Waddle and those kind of guys resting. I really don't have a problem with that, to be quite honest, because it's a dead season. You're playing for nothing. So why am I going to risk, guys that you need for next year and moving forward, right? So I get that part. But this also tells you that Mike McDaniel's not playing for his job anymore. That he's guaranteed practically to come back next year. Okay? Guaranteed practically to come back next year. And so that's where we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on why the Dolphins once again, okay, and a lot of you want us to go in the right direction, right? Don't you? I mean, I want them. I'm dying for them to win championships. Really just one. I mean, at my age, I got to see the first two, but I was young. So I'd like to see one more now in my older age. At least where I'm at, I can't ask for a dynasty, but I can ask, please, for one. You know what I'm saying? And we all want them to go in that direction, man. We all, that's why we hang on. That's why we watch. That's why we buy the shirts and the hats, and why you travel, and why you get together every week to watch them, why you hate the 7-8 months off of no football, all that shit that we go through, right? And then we only go through it to get disappointed over and over and over and over and over and over again. So we all want the light at the end of the tunnel, and we can't see it. And now you have a chance to really go in a positive direction, believe it or not, because you've got some players on the team right now. And over the next 2 years, you've got extra picks. Plus, some of the guys that you may lose also may add to more compensatory picks along the way. So you have a chance to really turn over the roster. But the important part about turning over the roster is turning over the franchise. And so, unfortunately, the reports out of the last couple of days don't really indicate that you're going to be turning over the franchise. And so let's talk a little bit about what the Dolphins are looking at. And here's Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network addressing that exact point.
But he is going to sit in on the interviews here and probably ask certain types of questions that, whether it's Stephen Ross or his son-in-law, Danny Silman, who's involved, Tom Garfinkel, the president, Brandon Shore, who has a significant role in the front office as well, and Dan Marino, who's another Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback who is still employed by the Dolphins. All those guys will be a part of this process as they vet who the right general manager is going to be. What they're looking for in Miami is a scout. They want somebody who is really going to have a vision for how do you build that roster. They got a lot of resources. They have a patient owner. From everyone I've talked to, this is a good job walking into it here. But they want someone whose expertise is in team building. And so what I would anticipate is that the Dolphins move, I think, fairly swiftly through this process. I think they're going to hit the ground running next week. They've obviously got a 2-month head start since firing Chris Greer back on Halloween. The idea of Troy Aikman is not just to allow him to be part of the interview process, but also for him to make sure, okay, it's great to say, hey, we want to pluck somebody from, let's say, San Francisco, but who's the right person to pluck from there? That's where Troy has been involved in this process. And again, I anticipate that this is going to be a process that moves on the relatively quick side.
Okay, a couple things to touch on. And don't forget, folks, please hit the like button. It's very important you hit the like button. It gets the algorithms going. You can also hit the notification bell. That way you know when we go live or if we want to talk about some breaking news or a rant that's put up or whatever. And, of course, you can also support the show by making a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can send your questions, comments, insults in there, and we'll address those. We'll address them here on the show. So, you can also send them in, and we appreciate it. Now, key here, as you heard, Pelisero, they're looking for a scout. Are you looking for a scout? I'm just wondering, because I'm not looking for a scout. No, dude. Is Pat Riley a scout? Or is he a guy that can scout, build cultures, motivate, address different levels of the team? That's somebody who knows how to build an entire culture and a team. Is Bill Zito just a scout? Or does this offseason, Bill Zito's the GM, they have their own capologist and all that shit, but he had to sign 3 key stars, and he only had a certain amount of money. And let me tell you, this idiot right here was saying, yeah, I think he'll get 2 of the 3. Some people thought only 1 of the 3 because they thought the greener pastures, people will take the money. Somehow or another, that sumbitch, I don't know what it was. It was like $22 million or something, got all 3 guys to commit. And most of us were absolutely blown away. So is Bill Zito just a cap guy? Is he just a scout? Is he a culture builder? Does he know what players need to be added? When Paul Maurice says, I need a kind of player, he goes, okay, let me go get the player, but I also have to get the guy that fits the culture. So what are you doing here? And I've had a term for Stephen Ross now for several years, and it's called human Jenga. And they don't really tear it down. They just, you heard Pelisero, that's an arm of the league. And so, they're never going to really trash anybody in the league, and they're going to, whatever information they get, it's from the league. So this is what that is. And, oh, this is a good job. And they have all the infrastructure in place. They're looking for a scout. Dude, does that sound to you? Okay, listen, I understand. I want them to win. And I know there's a certain section of Dolphin fans that can't listen to me because they can't hear the truth. They only want to hear pom-poms, rainbows, unicorns, and everything will be all right. And go listen to a Dolphin broadcast. They can't really be honest. Okay, but I'm looking for somebody to build an entire culture. So let me ask you something. Does that sound like they are out there to get the best candidate possible? No. They're looking for somebody that they can put from one of the organizations that will just, accommodate. And because Shore has his responsibilities that he can't shit on. I'm looking to bring in a guy that says to Stephen Ross and to everybody else, hey, everybody's job is on the line here. I don't know who the hell any of you people are. And I don't even know if you're good enough. And you know what? I may have in mind people that I already want. That's what I want. That's not what sounds like it's coming. Okay? It doesn't sound like that's what's coming. Okay? Because that's what you need here. You need somebody, Shula used to say, who's evaluating the evaluators? So, this is what I want to know. Because the problem is the people that are in place need to be evaluated because they're not good enough. They're all part of the problem, including Stephen Ross. But we can't get rid of the owner, right? We're stuck with the loser. But he's got to make the decision of cleaning house. But he likes these people. He likes Mike McDaniel. So he's going to look for a guy that is willing to work with Mike McDaniel, which is just... Now, if you're holding out hope for something bigger, let me explain. Let Adam Schefter explain. Instead of listening to somebody connected to the league, let's listen to somebody connected to the agents.
Conversation about a few coaches in the AFC East. Mike McDaniel has been the topic of a lot of conversation all year long.
And we've already seen the Miami Dolphins fire their general manager, bring on Troy Aikman as a consultant and advisor in the GM search, and now we wait to see what happens with Mike McDaniel. The feeling of owners right now is that they prefer to keep him. It doesn't mean that he's going to be safe, but we're leaning safe today. If they were making a decision today, Mike McDaniel is back in 2026, but there are still going to be conversations that occur within this organization that help determine his future. But again, he's a valued offensive mind that has a place, and right now Miami would keep him today.
Okay.
He's a valued offensive mind, and they'll keep him today. And then the only glimmer of hope that you have and I have and we have, to be quite honest, that little thing that Schefter threw out there that, well, most of it is planned, but if something happens, and they're talking about like if they can land Harbaugh or Tomlin, because then at that point, then they have to then go, because those people will want to be controlled of everything. The culture, the picks, everything. Tomlin has final say in Pittsburgh. They have a front office, but they don't draft anybody without his final say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big Tomlin guy anymore because of that, because I don't want him if he's in charge of personnel, because I've watched him in charge of personnel. He can't build a team that wins a championship. He's a hell of a coach. He reminds me of Shula like crazy. Shula sucked as a GM, but every year he coached his ass off. You know what I mean? And I know he coaches his ass off. I watch Spo now for the last 10 years. They never give him enough, but he coaches his ass off. You know what I mean? I talk about it all the time. The only person right now that is elite in the Heat organization is Eric Spoelstra. Pat Riley's no longer elite. They're not. They're not an elite front office anymore. He's an elite coach. And that's what Shula was. And I think Tomlin's an elite coach. I think he's a horrible general manager. Look at all the idiots that he constantly drafts and has to deal with. And he only won with the Spitters team, with Cowher. He won with his guys. Once his guys were gone, he never won again. So I'm not a Tomlin guy. But if you get Tomlin, You got to give him the keys to the kingdom. And then that's when nobody is safe. And if you get Harbaugh, you got to give him the king. And they're not getting either one. Because if they become available, Tennessee will scoop them up like that because they have Cam Ward already. The Giants will scoop them up like that because they at least have Jackson Dart. Not that I'm necessarily convinced with Jackson Dart, but whatever. But at least he's a quarterback. Okay? And so that's the mental masturbation. And in Spanish, la paja mental is what we're talking about. Okay, it's just not going to happen. One, those people aren't going to pick you anymore. By the way, can you look at the 16-year history of Stephen Ross? Has he ever recruited an elite level general manager or an elite level head coach? No, he hasn't. He hasn't been able to. So you think after 16 years of disaster and failure, he's going to recruit him now? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So we're just hoping for dumb luck or something is basically where we're at right now. Because how's a valued mind? And now let's go over this. The people doing the GM search, okay? It starts off with Stephen Ross. Do you want his opinion on this? Then it goes with son-in-law, Danny Silman. Oh, yeah, Danny, he's got this history that's I really want to hear from Danny Silman and Stephen Ross about what their thoughts are on football and a general man. I really want to know, right? Then we have Tom Garfinkel. Dude, that's the only guy that should be safe in the whole building is Tom Garfinkel, but he's a business guy. I don't want shit to do with Tom Garfinkel in football. So these are three people that I don't want anything to do with it. And then it's Brandon Shore, the numbers cruncher. So now it's four people that I don't want in a general manager decision. Why? They're not football people. They're all saving their jobs and their asses. And like I told you, like what they told me in the building last week, the building is full of people trying just to save their asses. And they've done a beautiful job because Stephen Ross loves everybody. And he doesn't want to disrupt the dysfunctional cart. I don't get that, to be quite honest. And then we have Dan Marino, which I get it, bro. It's Dan. But Dan doesn't do anything in the league. He doesn't know anybody anymore. At least with Troy Aikman, the only guy in the group that goes to camp after camp after camp. He goes to game every week where he hangs out for a couple days in practice. He has production meetings with the entire coaching staff on both sides of the teams, right? Offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, head coaches, all that. During the week, last 2 days of the week in practice, he's standing on the sidelines watching practice, talking to the different player personnel guys, all that are there in the building, college director scouting. They're all there. Hey, Troy, how you doing? Ba, 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 ba. So Troy's the only guy that literally actually knows football and is actually connected to football and actually walks around all over the place. He's the only guy out of that group, including Dan Marino. God bless him, dude, but Dan Marino, all he does is hang out, and he's earned this life, bro. He tried. They handed him the general manager job, and he ran away from it like it was a burning building. So he doesn't want to do that job because that job is a no-life job. Danny wants to golf and hang out and, I'll talk to the sponsors, no problem. Oh, yeah, I'll shake hands with a couple people in a sweet box. Yeah, no problem. Hey, Dan, what do you think about this quarterback? He comes in for 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Hey, too, I saw the game this week, on that one play, this, that. Oh, okay, cool, Dan. That's it. That's what Dan wants to do, bro. Dan doesn't want to sit there and go over 100 film of 100 and safeties and 100 left tackles and 100 quarterbacks and be all night watching that shit and just munching and eat. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do what a real general manager has to do and travel all over the country and time people and talk to them and interview them. And You think Dan Marino wants to do any of that shit? No, he doesn't want to do any of that shit. And he's earned the right to loaf, bro. He's earned the right to be just a figure in the place. And that's what he is. I'm sorry to insult you. I'm sorry to talk about my favorite player of all time that way. But Dan Marino's not a serious football guy. Okay? So the only guy is Aikman. Everybody else, I don't want to know anything about you people. You shouldn't be in that building deciding the future of anything. Stephen Ross himself, I get it, you're the owner, bro, but you're an idiot. You like Mike McDaniel. You're an idiot. After owning the team for 16 years, you don't learn anything. And so you watch those two reports, one league related, the other one more agent related. And now you kind of put everything together. And it's disturbing. And it's just disturbing. The entire mess is disturbing. You have inadequate people deciding the future of the Miami Dolphins. You have limitations to trying to improve it because, we're looking for a scout. What? A scout? Like you people know what the hell you're doing? And you just need one person to go find talent and that's it? That's all? Wow. That proves to me the level of ignorance in that franchise from top to bottom is enormous. And it's also proves to me that winning is really not the priority. Okay, the Hurricanes, we kept hammering them for years on this show. You cheap bastards. The game has changed. You don't spend money. You don't buy coaches. You don't buy your head coach. You go and try to find the cheap assistant, all that. That flew in the 80s, in the early 90s. You got away. You found the Jimmy Johnson. You found the Dennis Erickson, all that kind of stuff. You couldn't do it anymore because you weren't spending. Then all of a sudden the administration makes the turn and they make the drastic change and they're willing to do it. Vinny Viola takes over the Panthers and he inherits Dale Talon. And he realizes that Dale Talon is over the hill and not the guy anymore. So he makes the drastic changes, top to bottom. New president, new general manager, new head coach, new image, new way of looking. And there you go, drastic changes. And you have to be willing to make those drastic changes. Mickey Harrison made the drastic change years ago, and it paid off. Notice how he doesn't make drastic changes now. And guess what they do? They just waddle around, and we're just a playing team. And instead of doing what the game is now, tearing it down and go get as many first rounders, that's what you're supposed to do. Go through a couple of bad years. The ownership is not willing to do it because they're cheap. Because they're not willing to maybe lose money or maybe not make that much money. No, they want to give you a team that teases you enough to get you in the building. They lost it. They're not willing to make the hard changes that you have to make. So now the Heat is what the Heat is. They're just a middling team that is going to be a playing team. Why? Because you're not willing to do what you have to do in order to survive in today's game. You are old and you don't adjust to what's going on. Now on the Ross thing, you're old and you refuse to adjust your ways. You keep playing human Jenga. We'll just take, we'll replace a coach this year. A couple of years from now, we'll replace the general manager. Then we'll replace, and it just doesn't fly. And he doesn't learn. And he acts like his franchise has got no issues whatsoever. And all we need is a scout. I mean, dude, that's disturbing. Let's hear it again from Pelisero.
But he is going to sit in on the interviews here and probably ask certain types of questions that, whether it's Stephen Ross or his son-in-law, Danny Silman, who's involved, Tom Garfinkel, the president, Brandon Shore, who has a significant role in the front office as well, and Dan Marino, who's another Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback who is still employed by the Dolphins. All those guys will be a part of this process as they vet who the right general manager is going to be. What they're looking for in Miami is a scout. They want somebody who is really going to have a vision for how do you build that roster. They got a lot of resources. They have a patient owner. From everyone I've talked to, this is a good job walking into it here. But they want someone whose expertise is in team building. And so what I would anticipate is that the Dolphins move, I think, fairly swiftly through this process. I think they're going to hit the ground running next week. They've obviously got a 2-month head start since firing Chris Greer back on Halloween. The idea of Troy Aikman is not just to allow him to be part of the interview process, but also for him to make sure, okay, it's great to say, hey, we want to pluck somebody from, let's say, San Francisco, but who's the right person to pluck from there? That's where Troy has been involved in this process. And again, I anticipate that this is going to be a process that moves on the relatively quick side.
By the way, why quick side? Oh, that's right, because you only need a scout. You only need a scout. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Always appreciate that. Hateful Steve in the house. He says, if we knew a loss today would get McDaniel fired, would you still want us to win? Come on. You can admit it. No one will hold it against you. You would be pulling for a loss. It's, again, Steve, you got to let it go, my brother. We have no control over any of this. If players are going to try, I'm going to root for the Dolphins. That's what I do. Today, I will root for the Dolphins, knowing they have no chance and they're going to lose by 20, 25 points. Easy today. Because they'll probably let off the gas at some point in the second half because they're kicking their ass and they're embarrassing them and shit like that. And guess what, Steve? I'll be rooting for the Dolphins because I'm a fan. But I know how bad the job is. But again, I don't worry about where you draft. I worry about who you draft. And that's why the Dolphins fail, because they constantly don't know who to draft. But thank you for the love on Venmo. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Adam Pinkser, thank you on Venmo. He says, Happy New Year, O. Why would any GM torpedo their career by coming to Miami and being forced to work with McDaniel? Stephen Ross is approaching Mike Brown and Mike Bidwell levels of ownership malfeasance. Yes, he's right there with them. Bro, it's 16 years already. 16 years. 16 years of us going through this stuff. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Thank you again, sir, for your generosity as always. Appreciate it on Venmo. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverb 29:18. Identity is envisioned at the top. Amen. And this is why our team is a failure. Because of that guy, Stephen Ross. He has no vision. And that's the problem. And so this is what we're dealing with. I saw an article that Omar Kelly was putting out there. It said that the team needs to regain the fans' trust. And I'm like, when have fans trusted the Dolphins? It's been decades. Nobody trusts the Dolphins. Like, trust, bro. Try to win first. It's like, yeah, trust is not the thing to talk about right now. Start winning, and then the trust develops. That's kind of the way it goes, you know? Regain trust. Oh, man. I just want the entire football breakdown from Danny Silman. That's, you know, the great Danny Silman. You know, that's who's deciding your football fate there. The great Danny Silman. I'm sure we're going to be hearing that shirt for years to come. Joe says, afternoon, that T-shirt says it all. You should send one to the dinosaur Ross, although I doubt he would get the message. Yeah. We'll be adding another one this year, maybe. Finally. We'll be adding another one. I've had this shirt forever, man. Absolutely forever. How can you reinvigorate our fan base with McDaniel returning? You cannot, Joseph. You cannot, my brother. But he doesn't care. He only cares about the money. That's all he cares about. Big O, all these things you're saying is why I think Greer had no chance at building a winner here. Ross is Jerry Jones 2.0 with less football knowledge. Scary. More importantly, I'll tell you what is kind of funny. And you know what? Do me a favor. Please give me 30 seconds to clear my throat here. Okay? 30 seconds.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Okay, so, and I appreciate the patience. The silliness, right, for some fans and media, because I even, when I get in the car, I listen to QAM sometimes. I listen to the boys there. And listen, I got nothing against anybody over there, but this is how I've always been with sports talk, okay? If I think you're saying something silly, I'm going to say it, and I don't give a shit who you are, bro. I don't care if you're my friend, you're my brother, you're my best friend. I don't give a crap, dude, okay? But I hear it and I see it. Oh, we got to go get a quarterback. Really? That's going to solve everything. Damn, dude. Wow. I really thought he was going to solve everything too. And he had Don Shula. And he couldn't solve jack shit. Put up a lot of points, threw a lot of touchdowns, didn't win anything. And he's a freak. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get another one like this. In fact, I'm about 1,000% sure we'll never get another one like this. Okay? Like, this dude was sick. And he couldn't win shit. So, what environment do you have here for any quarterback to survive and thrive? You don't. So, for those of you that think like, oh, let's go get a quarterback and that'll solve everything, you're morons. We're watching teams that can win championships with Jalen Hurts, bro, who sucks as a passer. He's half the passer Tua is. Problem is, you don't give Tua any D-line and O-line like that. You don't give him a running game. You don't give him, certain things. So there you go. And kid's gotten ruined already. Broken and ruined already. Bum-ass Tannehill. They got more out of him in Tennessee, not because he was anything special, because they had more special around him. That's all. It's not like Miami ever had Tennessee's offensive line or Tennessee's run game or Tennessee's receiver or Tennessee's tight end or Tennessee's head coach on the sidelines, just like New England now. They didn't have the guy on the sidelines. Now they have him, and, it's a whole different ball game. So if you don't have the right people, how is anybody going to thrive here? Haven't you noticed as a Dolphins fan for decades now, all you do is see players leave to go have more success in other places? Not that they're going to win championships everywhere they leave here, but they go on to go to teams that go to playoffs and have deeper playoff runs. And we're like, well, yeah, that guy was here with us. And, and it's not the player, it's the environment. So for you to turn around and think, oh, we've got to go get a quarterback and everything will be solved. I've lived it all, man. I've watched the Dolphins from beginning to now. And I saw us when we had the guy and we didn't give him the environment. And that was Don Shula. Don Shula couldn't figure out the environment to give Marino in order to win a championship because he didn't have what Joe Montana had. He never got what Elway got at the end of his career. Never had that kind of talent around him. Isn't that what it's all about? Winning it all? I've explained it to you guys that Philadelphia, for those of you that listen to the Daily Show, Philadelphia, They've made the quarterback and the head coach interchangeable. Howie Roseman, nobody cares about Peterson and nobody cares about Nick Foles. And if Jalen Hurts leaves, there isn't going to be a line of people going, oh my God, I got to have Jalen Hurts because he's an amazing passer. No, he's a running quarterback and a mediocre passer. And they won a championship with him. And if the head coach gets fired, there's not going to be a line of people going, oh my God, this guy's an amazing head coach. No. Joe Gibbs made the quarterback interchangeable. He won 3 championships with 3 quarterbacks. None of them are going to the Hall of Fame. They all got to buy an entrance just like you and me. It's environment. That's why Trent Dilfer wins a championship. It's not that he's a great quarterback. Joe Flacco is never going to the Hall of Fame. But you gave him an environment where he thrived and went 11-0 in touchdown passes to interceptions in a playoff run. And he also had a great regular season. And you won a championship. You gave him the environment. And the history, the league is littered with that in this is history. Bob Greasy is a great quarterback, but he won a Super Bowl by throwing 7 passes. He barely even cut a sweat in that game. Think about that. He spent the entire day handing off. He threw 7 passes. Environment. Everything's about environment for a quarterback. If you don't give Cam Ward the environment, he'll kill himself, but the defense will kill you. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you seen that before for you old people? The defense. Ask Marino. Ask him. He's in a shootout with Tony Eason and Richard Todd. 2 guys combined don't have a third of the talent of Marino. Combined. But Marino goes and sits on his seat, and there's Tony Eason. Boom. 7 points. He's like, what's going on here, bro? And there's Richard Todd, and there's Freeman McNeil, and there's one-eyed Wesley Walker. Environment, bro. Environment. Young people are going, one-eyed Wesley Walker. What's he talking about? I was suffering Dolphins football before some of you were born. Before some of you were even a thought in your mom and dad's eyes, I was suffering from Dolphins football. Okay? I forgot about more Dolphins football than most of you know out there. Oh, man. Environment is everything, and we don't create the environment. So it doesn't matter what quarterback you draft. We're not going anywhere until you have it ready top to bottom. You're better off focusing on building the lines and all that and building a team and then get a guy that can manage it. But if you're going to sit here and every day and you're going to wait for the superstar and then you don't support the superstar, then Andrew Luck says, pain, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm retiring. And then your superstar leaves. Like Barry Sanders. Like Herman Moore. Was it Herman Moore? No, like Calvin Johnson. You don't give them the environment. They're like, bro, I'm tired of this. I'm out of here. Or they just kill themselves and they end up like Archie Manning or Steve Bartkowski or guys that were really awesome players and they weren't in environments that assisted them. You know what I mean? Eli and Peyton got the environments for them to win. Archie would have easily won if you gave him the environment. And we have lost our way on how to build a football team, understand what football is all about. We have completely lost our way. Okay? That is the sad part about this. Just like the aforementioned Miami Heat. The game adjusted, and they failed to adjust, and that's why they have fallen behind. And the Miami Dolphins, they have no idea what to do. Sad. D. Mal, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, oh, how can a billionaire be so unwilling to L-E-A? Lee? I don't know what that means. Did you mean lead? Win? It's just, I don't really understand how he doesn't really want to win. I get it. He's filthy rich, and it's fun to make money, I would imagine, at that level. And look at what they've done with that property. God bless them. They when it comes to business, they're ass kickers. But man, it is disturbing to watch what's gone on with our Miami Dolphins, and how we have been, bamboozled, I guess, is the only word I can use. And every year we watch it, we love it, we want them to win, but it's just not there. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I get it. On the Dolphin station, they got to tell you that. And I get writers can't really be completely blunt about it, even if they feel it, because they're afraid to lose you. You know what I mean? I'm not. I understand if some of you lose interest in the Dolphins. I get it. I'm not, but I get it. I get the people are saying, I've got a friend of mine like, dude, I'm done. Like, whenever they're good or something, then I'll tune in. But I am tired of investing my time, and it's just a shit show every year. And I understand that. I have a friend of mine that dumped his tickets 2 years ago, and he's super happy. And he's like, I'm never getting my tickets again. He goes, if they win, I'll buy them in the secondary market or whatever, or I'll go to a road game or something. When they win, I have wasted enough time and money on these people. And that's happening all over the place, unfortunately. And it's going to grow this offseason, because if you're bringing back Mike McDaniel, you're telling the fan base you really don't care. You don't care about them. And that's the sad part, dude. You know? They don't care. They don't care about winning whatsoever. And that is disappointing. They just care about making that money, dude. And they are making some serious bank. God bless them. F1 race. You know, they're, what is it I saw this week? We talked about it on the show. I think they're the 14th or 17th, what's it called? Most powerful franchise in the world. Here it is. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Number 16 in the world. There's only a couple of soccer teams, Real Madrid and Manchester United, in the list. Everything else is either a football team or a couple of basketball teams. It's pretty amazing. So they are 16 in revenue, but they're only talking about football revenue. They're not talking about the F1 race. They're not talking about University of Miami. They're not talking about the hospital. They're not talking about the practice facility. They're not talking about the major music festivals that they have there every year. They're not talking about the tennis tournament. You throw that in there, they're number one in the world. Okay? Because they're only talking about, if they're comparing revenue with every other team, they're only talking about team revenue. They're 16th in the world in team revenue from the NFL. That's not what part of their entire enterprise is. Some sick shit, dude. They are printing more money than the Federal Reserve. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. All right, we got the game. We'll be back on the post-game show. We will have David Furones and Chris Perkins joining us on the post-game show. Please don't forget to, come on, man. We've got over 200 people watching, only 96 likes. Let's go. Please smash it. Get it well over 200. Come on, man. There's a lot of you out there that haven't hit the like button. We'll be back with David Furones and Chris Perkins for our post-game show and the final regular season matchup for the Miami Dolphins in the 2025-26 season. Fins up.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.